Hi, everybody. This is Vaughn from Exact Remedy, and we're going to be changing up the format on this channel. So, this is a test run, see how it goes. So, I got a book right here by Dan Kenner and Yves Rakina. These guys are endocrinologists, MD doctors that work with herbalism and natural medicine out in Europe. I got to slightly get to know them years back and kind of lost track of them. But what's cool is they have this, I've restructured this book to make it useful for me by putting all the stuff and cutting the book in half. I like to study books in a particular way. Anyway, so I want to get into, so in this book we have parts. By the way, the book's called Botanical Medicine, European Professional Perspective. There should be an A right here. It's A, European Professional Perspective. Anyway, this part of the book right here has the herbs, and I was looking for lavender, but lavender is not in that part. It's in the essential oil part. They recommend using essential oils internally, by the way, in this book, which is kind of an interesting concept. I've done that, and it's quite amazing how well it works. So these are the oils, and so when we look, we can find lavender here. I want to do lavender because it's a very popular herb. I'm gonna treat lavender as, in this case, as more like an herb, not so much of an oil, but because the oil is just basically the same thing but more concentrated, and you can go toxic too if you eat too much of the oil or use too much of it. But the herb itself is, it could knock you out, like kind of give you almost like a hangover the next day if you take a pill. That's maybe 500, 600 milligrams. You can easily get those. Sometimes what I'll do is I'll empty out half of it. Just I'll open up the pill and then just empty out half of it and then put the pill back together and then just take it. So out of all the different herbs, so in the herbal world, you have different categories of herbs, and we're going to get into that with some of the Chinese herbs. They have a different take on how to use herbs than we do. But in the herbs category, I like to use herbs just for a few things, okay? Moving your bowels, moving the lymph, and probably moving the lymph with exercise is better than just taking the herbs, right? Exercise is just amazing anyway. You have moving the lymph, bowels, and then resting, relaxing the body. And of course, if you go into like drug medicines, they have even stronger stuff to relax the body to the point of like anesthesia, coma inducing medicines and stuff like that. So in like the pharmaceutical world, you have stuff like that. That's just, it could go very extreme to the point of just, it could kill you. It's very strong. In the herb world, we have really cool herbs to kind of help you relax. And I'm going to put GABA in the herb category too, even though it's a supplement, just to simplify thinking about these things. But again, GABA is another really good supplement that works. And there's different forms of GABA. I'm not going to get into that here right now, but GABA, GABA. You could look that up for. It's good for anxiety, rest, sleep, tension, muscle tension. But let's look at lavender. Let's read this, and then we'll could talk about it. So this book has kind of an interesting perspective. It looks at the different the different constituents or different elements of how this remedy works, but through the lens of Chinese medicines: fire, wood, earth, metal, water. Okay. So let's read it. Lavender, Lavandula officinalis. Actions: cardiotonic, antispasmodic, sympathicolytic, and parasympathicolytic. They basically, lytic means stop. So, or to, I'm not mistaken, to like cut in half. Essentially, it stops it. So it's going to stop it's going to just relax the whole nervous system, whether it's sympathetic or parasympathetic. Fight, flight, or rest and digest. It's going to just shut everything down. Analgesic for pain, antimicrobial, gram-positive, diaphoretic, vulnerary. Not even sure what vulnerary means. We could look that up. Let's see what that means. Like the hardcore. How do you not know what vulnerary? So Google thinks I'm trying to say voluntary. 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 Where's this thing? Oh, yeah, come on, man. Vulnerary. Okay. There we go. Used for healing of wounds. Okay, so I guess you could put it right on the skin where there's wounds. I don't know if I'd want to do that. Probably like maybe the tincture, because it's got little pieces. You don't want that getting into wounds. But if it has like a tincture extract, the oil might be really good for that too, because it can stop infection like really effectively. Specific type of infections, not everything, of course. So the oil would be good for, and this is the oil chapter, right? Or this is the oil section. Central nervous system sedative, which would go along with the sympathicolytic and parasympathicolytic. By the way, lemon is a really, really great herb too, because it's just, first of all, lemon's everywhere, and it's everywhere, and it's so gentle, and you could give it to kids, you could give it to, it's just beautiful, and smells beautiful, non-toxic, I mean, I'm not saying take a gallon of something, you could probably get pretty messed up if you take a lot of anything. Central nervous system sedative. Okay, so neuroendocrine constituents: linalool, cinol, pinol, limonene, geranol, borneol, and herniarin, a hydroxycoumarin. I'm not sure if that's, let's see what hydroxycoumarin does actually. Hydroxycoumarin is a derivative with, I wonder if that, let's see what coumarin does. Coumarin is a keto, so is a pleasant smelling, okay, so it's like a keto element, so it's going to be like a volatile kind of a thing. Oh, I see, okay. Tonka bean. So it's that, yeah, it's one of those things that, it's one of those constituents, it's like an oil keto element that is a ketone that is, you find in lots of different, herbs. There's female ginseng here. I think female ginseng is, angelica. Yeah, I love the way angelica smells. Great herb. Got this like real earthy, the female ginseng. What's cool is if you go to Chinese like stores, they can blend stuff up for you, but I like to get the individual herb, and they'll just make you like an ounce, 2 ounces of each. And then what's cool is you can muscle test those and see what you need and what you don't need, and kind of learn. It's really fun. It's a fun process. It's like getting, it's like these, I have a plant back here, the snake plant, and I have a few more plants over here. You can't really see them, but the monstera and a cantia right here. Maybe one day I'll show it to you guys, but they're sort of like, they're living things. And when you look at the plant world, it's like you look at, like, you have the hallucinogens in that world that are great teachers. I think all the drugs pretty much come from that world, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, I'm sure there's something that's, there's like toad hallucinogens and stuff like that too, but they're just amazing, these are just amazing things in the world that, you know, that we can use, and they just all come from the plant world. Or not everything, but, you know, I see the plant world as like their allies. I mean, like, without the plants, our lungs don't work. They just don't work. They're like the counterpart to our lungs. You know, we produce the carbon dioxide, they produce the oxygen. Without them, we don't exist in the form that we exist now. Maybe it would be different. But the point is, you have to realize that we're not just like these islands onto ourselves. We're part of families, communities, right? We are part of nature. So anyway, so these things are really neat. You should get more and more, like, try to collect all sorts of herbs and all sorts of different supplements and stuff. It's really cool. It's really fun getting into stuff. And then when you get results from it, it's even more exciting. And when you start studying these materials from, I mean, I have a lot of experience, but you want to go through herbal knowledge through the lens of energetics. Okay, you'll understand more and more as you watch some of these videos. But hypertension. Okay, so let's take fire. So fire is like here. Okay, thyroid, brain, thinking. You know, like I'm talking about, like intense focus. You know, that's fire element in the body. Hypertension, arrhythmias, tachycardia, excitability, anxiety, intestinal spasms. So yeah, it's like there's so much of this kind of intensity going on up here. Okay. Now the wood is a different element. The wood is kind of like based in the liver. It could shoot up into the head. So we're gonna see that it's fire essentially. I mean, you're getting fire elements here, and you're gonna get headaches, lacquery. I think that's yeast infection, if I'm not mistaken. Let me just make sure. Lacquery. Also called lacquery, flow of whitish, yellow, greenish discharge from the vagina of female. So you're looking at some kind of like possible yeast infection right here. Acne. Again, it's a kind of a poisoning of the body, whether it's on the skin or coming through the skin, through the blood. So the liver's backed up. The liver's not being able to kind of balance the internal processes, the internal chemistry to such a point. So you start getting these yeast infections. You start getting headaches shooting up into the head, like especially the left side. That's like liver. It's like totally liver. Earth. Acidic hypersecretion or hyposecretion. So it's not secreting enough acid, dyspepsia, so you got all these digestive problems, typhoid fever. Well, any type of fever, any kind of heat, lavender is going to be good for. Actually, I'm going to get another book out. Hang on one second here.